Today we're digging into the archives to take a look at one of my favorite and most insightful interviews. Today on the show, angel investor Jason Calacanis. He likens investing to poker, and he uses his people and business reading skills to pick winners. Enjoy.
The reason why I'm so passionate about being an angel investor and not like a VC, because I've been offered to work at, call it 6 of the top 10 venture capital firms have offered me jobs. Or tried to recruit me. I like to work in the angel stage because, as you saw when we were doing the interaction, when I meet somebody like Janelle and I see winner, 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 and I'm like, oh, that's exciting to me. Like, I know that person's going to win at something, and I need to be in business with them, and I want to win with them. So I had to you take stock of your life at different points, like when you fuck up or when you win, and I took stock of my life a couple of times, in the past couple of years, and I was like, what do I love doing? I like winning, and I like supporting people who are changing the world. Okay, what's the best way to do that? Being an angel investor. And so now I've just organized my life around this premise of meeting founders, trying to figure out which ones are under-recognized, and being the person who writes the first check or the check when nobody else believes in them, because it's the most exciting check to write. And it's the smallest check, $25K, $250K, $1 million, compared to what my contemporaries do, which is write $25 million checks or $2.5 million checks. But I find it super exciting. I love the fact that I was the third investor in Uber or the second investor in Thumbtack. That, to me, is the exciting moment, to believe in it when nobody else does.
Do you get more excited about people or businesses?
Obviously, people.
I mean, it's not necessarily obvious, though, because a lot of people think they have to have an Uber on their hands in order to get your attention.
Here's the thing. In hindsight, everybody will believe in something that's changed the world. It's pretty obvious. Like, what people are very bad at is believing in something before it's changed the world. And so you have to change your thinking as an investor. I think the reason I became very good at this is because of the fact that I'm a compulsive gambler. As anybody knows who types Calacanis Daniel Negreanu into YouTube and watches me play a $130,000 hand with the world's best reader, I beat him.
No big deal.
No big deal.
Nah.
No big deal. Okay. I tried not to drop into Trump.
That story would never have gotten told if you lost that hand.
No.
Ever.
I lost a $100,000 hand with Pocket Kings versus Doyle Brunson, and that was painful.
Not bitter about it at all. Continue.
Not bitter at all. But what were we talking about?
Yeah.
Risk. Gambling.
No, definitely not that hand you lost.
That's in the past. Definitely not the fourth edible that somebody just shoved down my throat over here.
I was wondering though if you bet on more about people or businesses, and you were
here's where I was going with that. You have to bet on people, and because even an entrepreneur who maybe builds the wrong product in the wrong market, they'll be smart enough and indefatigable enough, resilient enough to realize, oh, this didn't work. Yeah, let's make a couple of little adjustments, maybe a full pivot, and they'll figure it out. Now, once in a while, a dipshit team of idiots will be at the right place in the right time. Cryptocurrency,
for example.
Sorry. No offense to the crypto people, but there are some stupid people who just took down large sums of money. That's not the likely scenario most of the time. And you better
not CoinSmart, who sponsored this conference, though.
Let me tell you.
Is not the case with them.
1,999 of these ICOs are complete utter bullshit, but that one is the winner.
Yes.
Thank you for sponsoring the event. No.
Your check has cleared, CoinSmart.
Crypto is fascinating. We'll get into it. But that is like an outlier. So you have to look at the founder and you have to ask, is this person a winner? Are they going to win at life? Are they indefatigable? Will they give up or not? Because the reason businesses fail is not because they run out of money. That's what most people think is the reason they fail. It's because the founder gives up. I've seen many founders run out of capital and run on fumes for a month or two, tell everybody they're not getting paid, tell everybody to take side jobs, and then all of a sudden they raise the money 6 weeks later, 12 weeks later, and the business is still going. So I just look for those people. And sure, it helps if they're in a great market, but here's the thing. The really outlying successes in our business are the ones that define the market. So marketplaces, and on demand didn't exist as terms when we invested in Uber or other people invested in Airbnb. And I looked at Airbnb and I didn't have a chance to invest, but when I first heard it, I just thought, this is the stupidest idea I've ever heard.
Yeah, who wants cold cereal in someone else's couch?
Well, they were like, yeah, well, here's how it works. Somebody was explaining it to me who had invested, and they're like, okay, it's like couch surfing. So people have an extra room, and you're going to Tokyo, you stay on their couch. And I'm like a serial killer's couch. I give the serial killer $50, I stay on their couch, and then I wake up and they're over me with a knife. I'm like, that's fucking crazy. And they're like, well, no, they have a reputation system. And I'm like, oh, a sociopathic serial killer is not going to be able to gain their reputation.
Right.
Like, that's kind of what they do, is they kind of lull people. I mean, Jeffrey Dahmer, like, he's pretty good at getting people to come to his house and eat him. And then they were like,
not anymore, though.
not anymore. They caught him eventually. But then on the other side, they're like, well, no, but you can host somebody and make money. And I'm like, so I could host a serial killer in my house who, when I'm asleep, will then break into my master bedroom and kill me.
Somebody grew up in Brooklyn. All right.
Right, but I had trust issues with that, and I was like, this is crazy. But what I didn't realize was what the founders realized, which was there was a group of people who this was appealing to, and it would expand. So I'm going to Tokyo because the book has just been translated on Friday, and I'm like, oh, wow, there's a 9-bedroom modern home in Tokyo that I could rent and bring my entire team, and it's $1,000 a night. Wow, that's like $100 a room. This is a credible deal. And I'm like considering using Airbnb. So where people start and where they end, and you have to suspend disbelief. And the way you can do that is you just make a long list of all the reasons why the startup will fail. So for the startups we saw today, I could give you the list of what VCs will say are the reason it's going to fail. And then you make a list of the reasons why it's going to succeed. And that might be a very short list. It's always shorter than the list of reasons it will fail. And then you take the list of the reasons it's going to fail and you rip it up and you throw it away and say, I believe in that person to go down that list and crush those issues. And here's what might go right. And if it's a 1 in 100 chance, but it pays off 1,000 to 1, you would take that. And that's where gambling comes in. I got into poker and I became a good poker player after years, and it takes a long time. But what you realize in poker is something called implied odds. So you and I are in a hand, and we're playing very deep stacks. You got $50,000. We got $50,000 in front of us each, and I've got 7-8, and you've got aces. Should I pay $1,000 with 7-8? Well, that doesn't seem logical. But if I hit my straight, you're never going to see it coming, and you might shove your whole fucking stack in there, and that's the implied odds. So if I took a deck of cards out and I asked somebody in the audience, if I you give me $1,000. And if you pull the ace of spades, I'll give you 100,000. Most people would be like, well, that's stupid. There's only one ace of spades. But then if you realize it's 1 out of 52, which is about a 2% chance, you'd say, how many times can we do this bet? Can we do it 100? Can we do it 1,000? Because I am going to win in the long run. Our minds are not designed for that. Evolution has made us conservative, scared little creatures. Because if this was prehistoric times and we were going to go across that river, you'd be like, fuck, we don't know what's in the water. Could be an alligator. I'm not going across the river. But on the other side of the river, it might be all the apples. And somebody took the chance and went over there. With startups, it's not life and death anymore. So you should take the risk. But people's brains are wired. We're all still wired to be scared little monkeys. We're just terrified of taking risk. You have to rewire your brain to be a great investor and to be a great founder. Say, fuck it, I'm taking the risk. It's a 1% chance. But it's a 1% chance at making $1 billion or changing the world. Those are calculated risks that are worth taking, but your brain has a very hard time with making them. That's why East Coast VCs are so bad at the game and West Coast VCs are so good at it.
Burn.
East Coast VCs, well, listen, East Coast has better rap music, Biggie forever, Jay-Z. West Coast, some good stuff out there, but it's nowhere near East Coast rap. But on the VC side,
Snoop Dogg.
What happens, Snoop Dogg, Biggie, Jay-Z, like, no comparison.
This went down. This took a dark turn.
But anyway, somebody's going to get shot.
Yeah, not it.
But the VCs on the East Coast have never hit a $100 billion company. The VCs on the East Coast generally haven't had this kind of crazy success, nor do they know people who've had crazy success. On the West Coast, people are like, that's a fucking crazy idea. Let's do it. And then on the East Coast, they're like, that's a crazy idea. Can I have a 6x liquidation preference? And I want to have 2 board seats and you get 1. And they're just playing because they're scared.
And your slides need work.
Yeah, and your slides, well, it's bullshit. Like if you're a VC, you're supposed to take risk. You're supposed to take crazy bets. So anyway,
Well, you mentioned the number one reason startups fail is not funding, et cetera. It's that the founder gives up. How do you know? Well, of course, you don't in advance. What are you looking for to find a founder who might give up? So if we're sitting here in front of all these people, what do you look for? That guy, she is going to give up. He's going to give up. What are you looking for? Or what is it in their office that you see?
Look in their eyes.
Oh, come on.
While
There's
they
more
talk.
than that. There's more than that.
It may seem like that I'm bullshitting right now, but I look in people's eyes, and while they're talking, I can tell, and it might be from poker, if they actually believe what they're saying.
Okay, so if they're full of crap, fine. They'll probably give up.
Yeah, and I'm looking for somebody who's delusional with skill.
That's what you want.
Yeah.
You want delusional with skill.
Absolutely. Like, I'm going to create a rocket ship company. Like, really? Tell me more. Well, I'm going to Russia and I'm going to look at how they make rockets, and then I'll come back and make my own. And then there's, and when I knew Elon before SpaceX and before Tesla. When I heard him talk about it, it's very clear to me that he's indefatigable. He doesn't get tired. He's got the stamina of, 100 people, and he's going to win because he'll never give up.
If you thought this segment was insightful, click here to watch the full episode with Jason Calacanis. But before you do, click here to subscribe to The Jordan Harbinger Show.